Hi folks, Bob O'Connor here for Channel 2, and this is the Spotlight program. This week we're going to be taking a look at the Bretton Woods Adaptive Sports Program. A few weeks ago, Bob Wiles called me to see if I'd be interested in covering this program, and of course I said sure. So this week, after about a foot and a half of fresh powder, I got in the car and drove out to Bretton Woods. As I arrived at the adaptive ski facility, which is located in the base lodge, there were several volunteers there, all eager to show me what this adaptive ski program is all about. And I'll tell you, I had some pretty exciting moments on this little episode, and I'd like to share them with you. So sit back and enjoy our coverage of the Bretton Woods Adaptive Sports Program, and we'll be emphasizing the ski portion of that program this week.
My name is Chris Criswell. I live here in Littleton. And I've been active in the adaptive sports community for the last 13 years. Like Henry, I also had polio as a young boy, and only learned to ski as a result of post-polio syndrome back in 1995. So I've been skiing for the last 13 years as a monoskier, a sit skier. I got involved at Bretton Woods about 10 years ago. Our program actually was founded in 1998 by Paul Tierney and by our ski school director here, Steve DeBenedictis. Steve was a special education instructor, a teacher, before he became head of our ski school here. And a young girl, Sierra Leone, with cerebral palsy, came here and wanted to ski, and we had no program. So Paul Tierney and Steve got together with Kathy Chandler, who runs a program at Waterville Valley called Ability Plus. And Kathy's mission is to start new programs. And so she started our program, provided us with equipment and with training. And so now over the course of a dozen years, 10 years, I'm sorry, we now have 75 volunteers. We're not just an adaptive ski school, but an adaptive sports and recreation program that runs year-round. We have volunteers who come from all over. We have doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs. We have nurses and people in business and people in construction, many of whom who come here to do the kind of training that is required in order to have a person out on the snow safely. And to have a good time. In fact, our mantra here is safety, fun, and learning, and in that order. Obviously, safety is first, because you can't have much fun or learn much if you're in an environment that's not safe. On the other hand, we have people out on the snow in all kinds of conditions with all kinds of disabilities. And so training is absolutely paramount to the success of our program. If you're a new volunteer, for the first 2 years, you're required to complete 6 full days of training, which is 18 clinics. And for every year thereafter, you have to complete 3 full days of training. That training is all the way from indoor, dryland training on the types of disabilities, medications that our students may be taking, to outdoor on the snow, including instructors are expected to ride in some of this equipment, as you did, Bob, to see what it's like in order to understand fully what the student must be experiencing when they're out on the snow. I want to make a comment about Bretton Woods and the Mount Washington Resort. We have probably the best relationship with a resort of any of the 90-plus programs of this type in the United States. We are a member of Disabled Sports USA, which is the national organization that's connected to the Olympics and the Paralympics, and that organization was founded by soldiers coming back from Vietnam. We have some here in our program who had lost limbs in Vietnam and are here as instructors. We support the Wounded Warrior Project. We have soldiers who've been wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan who come here to not only ski, but in the summertime to play golf.
Most of us are here not so much for ourselves, but for the joy we get from working with some of the students and lessons that come in. A couple of years ago, there was a family here from England, and there was a girl sitting upstairs in a wheelchair, and the family was taking turns babysitting her. Our senior instructors came by and looked at her and asked her, "Why are you sitting here? Why aren't you out skiing?" And the family looked at us in a little bit disbelief and not understanding, and we brought the student down here, and she spent a week going out on the bi-ski, on a bi-ski, then we transferred her to a slider, and this is an absolutely lovely teenager that's been here for 3 years in a row and comes out and skis every single week. And if the rest of you could see the smile and see the enjoyment that this girl has out on the mountain, you'd understand why we're here. We are made up of volunteers. It is a self-funding program. I want to put a plug in. We're having a ski-a-thon this Saturday, February 28th. It's a fundraiser, 4-member team, very much like a golf tournament. It's $500 per team to come in and ski. For that, you get a free day of skiing, you get lunch. There's enormous prizes for the most money raised, the most runs made, the best costumes. It's a fun day. If anybody's out there has the day open, please come in and see us. If you can't make that day and you'd like to make any donations, it is a self-funded program. We're a 501c nonprofit organization. There is a website called First Giving. If you go on to firstgiving.com, you can find information about the program as well as how to donate.
I was here as a volunteer for a couple of years, and I ran the program for 3 years, and along comes this amazing young woman named Sandy Olney. She was working at the Appalachian Mountain Club. She has wilderness first responder credentials, and she was looking for a job as a ski patroller, and right next to the ad for a ski patroller was one for our adaptive program as a volunteer. And Sandy decided, that's what I want to do. She came and she just took everybody's heart, and one day I said to Sandy, would you be interested in taking my job? And she broke down in tears, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. was I could go back to being retired, and Sandy took over this program with a storm. Actually, today she is out finishing her level 2 alpine exam. She's an amazing athlete and skier. She's has run this program now for two years, I believe. And I'm sure I can speak for all the volunteers in our program and the board of directors that we are very, very fortunate to have this amazing young woman running our program.
Hi, my name's Jim Hogan. This is my 3rd year at the adaptive program, and it's been a great experience for me. I get to meet people like Henry and ski with guys like Chris, and work with people like Carol and Bob Wiles, and my new friend Justin and Patrick. And it's a great way to go down the mountain. It's like a team effort. When I ski with Henry and the kart ski, it's like we're both participating. It's a team sport. It's a whole different way to come down the mountain, and it's a lot of fun. And I encourage anyone to come up and join in all the fun, play in the snow.
I want to speak briefly to the process by which a new student comes into our program to take a lesson. Normally, a person would call up and make a reservation, and would call the desk, speaking to Carol right here. And Carol or the other office person who would be there, all of our office volunteers, by the way, are here and make this program, the back office part of this, very important, because one of the things that Carol would do would be to send the student or student family an application that would have all the contact information, as well as medical information that's pertinent to their coming to ski. When they arrive, whether walking, they might be walking with crutches, or they might be rolling in a wheelchair. One of the things that we do pretty early on is to assess that person's physical ability, whether it's to, if they're in a wheelchair, as I am at this point, to know how good their balance is. We might have them reach over and pick something up off the floor and see what their ability is to do that. We would also try to understand their emotional, their background in terms of have they been involved in any other sports or any other physical activities. One of our goals is to have the least restrictive equipment necessary for them to be out on the snow, and one of our primary goals is to promote independence. So we'd like to provide the student with a piece of equipment and the techniques required in order to go out on the snow and be as unrestricted as possible. Sometimes a person can go out and be completely independent with a single piece of equipment. In other cases, we might teach the family some of the techniques and how to use the equipment so they can rent a piece of equipment and then go out in this mountain or to take that equipment to any other mountain.
Part of the services we provide is that we help meet the ADA requirements when some of the school systems come over and provide their students with recreational activities. Kids without disabilities are able to ski, but they have to address the kids with disabilities. So we work with most of the local school systems, Whitefield, Groveton, Littleton, White Mountain School, with a lot of the school projects with kids that are special needs requirements or physical or developmentally delayed requirements. Typically, the kids will come in and sign up for a 6 to 8 week program. It's a great deal of fun for us because we get to measure the progress because we see the students over and over again. And for those of us like Jim and myself that have been around 3 or 4 years, you get to see the kids come back each year. So it's a great deal of fun, as well as providing a lot of service to the communities.
Well, this is very important to me that they have the ski program, because a lot of times people with disabilities were not given the opportunities to explore what we're capable of doing. And I've done other sports, horseback riding, I'm a certified scuba diver, but this skiing is something that I'm really taken to, maximizing myself. I'm getting better and better. And what usually happens, people with disabilities, when they're given these opportunities, it also reflects in their everyday life. They have a better self-esteem of themselves. So besides enjoying what you're doing, when you enjoy what you're doing, that also reflects on your life. And again, getting back to, I mean, I've been disabled since I was 4 years old from polio, and when I was growing up, there were not many activities available for people with disabilities. And now with all these adaptive programs, I mean, I wish they would have had this when I was a youngster, because I could have developed much more, had a better self-esteem of myself at an earlier age. You know, the people here don't look at a disability as a negative thing. It's just a fact of life, and it's what you do with what you have. And that's why I'm very happy to be here. I've come all the way from New Jersey, almost 400 miles. I ski on this kart ski. I've also done the mono ski and the bi-ski and 4-track. But if they didn't have this kart ski, I wouldn't be skiing anymore, because with the mono ski and the bi-ski, there's just too much pressure on my shoulders. And you can, you know, lose the, I forgot what this is called again. The outrigger. You could lose the outrigger, and I've done it a couple of times where I've thrown out, overextended my shoulder. So the kart ski, you know, as the people saw it on the video, I have a lot of control on it. You can stop it, and hopefully, you know, with these adaptive programs for people with disabilities, I would like to see people without disabilities that, for whatever reason, they can't ski, you know, too much pressure, that they'd use this adaptive program. I think this should be used for everybody.
Here you can see Carl Schaefer getting me ready to film the following sequence. As you can see, he will strap me in, and this device has 2 skis, and it is very maneuverable, It's operated by a person standing on the back, in this case, Carl, and by turning the handlebars, the skis edge like you would normally, and they'll go around the corner. It is also equipped with brakes that he can activate, and if he should fall off, he's attached with a cord, and the cord will immediately activate a braking device. You will notice that to go to the lift, the chair actually lifts up. The chairlift comes along, goes under it, it comes back down, and we ride up to the top. And when we get to the top, the chair lifts again, and I'm released from the quad chairlift, and we're ready to go skiing. This one we're on, that I'm in, is the tandem ski.
Yes.
And what's the one that Henry's in?
Henry's in a cart ski.
Okay.
That's got hand levers on it. It's like driving one of those Dixie chopper mowers.
Yeah.
But those hand levers tilt the skis and can bring them into a wedge position. So he can actually steer the thing
Right.
by use of the hand levers.
Right.
And Chris is on a monoski.
Right. Now that seems like a snowboard, right?
Well, he has an ultra-wide ski on it.
Yeah.
That's his own preference.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the ultimate of the sit skis. You have the monoski, the bi-ski, the cart ski, and then the tandem ski
Right.
for all different levels of disabilities.
Channel 2,
Oh,
you made it. I missed you in the park a lot this morning. I took the day off.
not a problem.
How you doing, Terry? I'm good, fine.
I was disappointed with that movie last night.
Yeah, at the end.
Follow you for a while. It's a little tricky keeping track of people, I'll tell you. And here's a sequence that'll give you some idea of the thrill of riding in this bi-sled, in that Carl said, well, let's get down to the bottom. And so off we went. And I'll tell you, it's a thrill similar to what you get skiing, except probably more thrilling because you have no control over it.
With disabled children, and we'll put the grandmother in the tandem ski and bring her to the top of the mountain, and she'll have a chance to see her grandchild ski.
Jim to Chris. That's all. Jim to Chris. We'll go down and wait.
I think he'll come in through the powder over here.
Okay. Yeah, baby. Nice.
We can try to follow you here. It's fairly smooth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, go parallel. Okay. All right, let's go parallel.
Henry.
All right, so go ahead.
Go up to there.
Okay.
I'm in operation.
All right.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, ready?